Hey, courageous school leaders. Welcome to Lead Beyond Limits, the space where school leaders like you gain unfiltered insights from educators, uncover the hidden barriers holding your staff back, and get practical strategies to lead with confidence. If you're ready to tackle the real challenges in your schools and create the clarity your team needs to thrive, you're in the right place. Let's dive in and get to work.
Hey, courageous school leaders. How are you all doing on this wonderful Labor Day, Monday? I'm trying to get my screen right. Something is happening right now, and I can't tell what it is. I hope you all are doing well and enjoying this wonderful weather. It is absolutely gorgeous outside, and I'm hoping that you all have an opportunity to get out and enjoy this beautiful day. So, today, I want to touch on what I spoke about last week, introducing Spark to you. And so, let me just set the tone for you. Okay, so last fall, a principal I worked with a principal I worked with opened the year like ready to go, on fire, like boom, boom, boom. Right, the pacing guide was already printed. Naturally, it's created by the district, and then schools go in and make the changes or shifts as needed. But the pacing guide that she had her and her team created was already printed, right? The PLCs were scheduled, the collaborative meetings were scheduled, walkthroughs had already started, right? So from the outside, everything looked like it was moving, like it was, okay, this is happening, that's happening. But inside the building, it felt very different. Teachers were planning, but not aligning. Conversations were happening, but they weren't connecting. By week 4, she said to me, "We're working hard, but I don't think we're moving forward." And so what she realized was this: motion and momentum are not the same thing. She had the energy, but no direction. That's where we started. One standard, one anchor, one focus to align every single team in the building. Welcome to Lead Beyond Limits, everybody. I'm Dr. Demia, and all month we are talking through the 5 moves that help you reclaim your time, your direction, and your leadership rhythm. So this series is going to be grounded in 3 leadership truths: controlling your narrative, because reaction-based leadership will drain your credibility; leading with confidence, because strategy erases second guessing; building your legacy, because leadership moves leave a footprint, not just a good feeling, right? So each Monday in September, I'll walk you through one essential move, always with the what, the when, and the why. And in October, I hope you turn it into a clarity plan your team can actually follow. Okay? So let's take a look at this 5-part cadence that I introduced to you last week that's called Spark. And today we're going to start with the very first part, and most often the skipped move, which is really critical, right? So S in Spark stands for select and set the standard. Okay? You need to select and set the standard. So type Spark if your team could benefit from more rhythm and less scatter this year. Okay, if you're watching the replay, which you should be because this is a recording. Okay. Here's what I've seen in schools that are doing all the things and not seeing the traction. So here's some of the things that I've seen. Teachers don't know what's most important. The walkthroughs look busy, but they're disconnected. The data meetings reveal gaps, but no one's surprised and no one's sure what or where to adjust. When that's happening, you feel like you're working, but you're not actually moving. And that's the cost of skipping this first step. Select and set a single foundational standard to drive the next 6 weeks. So let me backtrack a little bit. So when I say select a standard, right, like it says right here, selecting a standard. When I say select and set the standard, I mean this. Choose one standard per content area that will serve as the instructional anchor. Select your foundational standard. This will be the lens for your feedback, for the lesson planning conversations, for student work analysis, and yes, your communication with families and a board if you're a charter school, right? You're not ignoring other standards. You're simply saying, this one matters most right now, and we're going to go deep, right? It's not a pacing decision, it's a leadership decision. I remember as a principal, we would focus on a standard, but what we did was we focused on that one standard for the entire grade level. And at one point, we focused on the standard across all grade levels because it was foundational, right? So imagine the power in having all of your grade levels, at least 80 to 90%, or even 100%, which is the goal, proficient in that standard across the board. That's so powerful. So let's talk about why this works. So when you select one standard, choosing one standard to anchor for instructional focus, right? Moving from focus fog over to clear focus, that's the first thing we're doing. We're choosing one standard, right? Let's talk about why this works. It reduces decision fatigue. When teachers know the anchor, they spend less time wondering what to focus on, right? Because there's a lot out there. These curriculum guides are overflowing with information, and sometimes you don't know what to pick. It's just too much. So it helps reduce decision fatigue. Another thing that it does, and why this works, is it sharpens your evidence, right? We're talking about sharpening evidence. Student work now becomes a mirror for the one thing you actually care about right now, right? It's essential. It also strengthens your story because as a leader, you always have a story. Because when families will ask, how's school going, your answer won't start with a data point. It's actually going to start with a purpose. We're focusing on X standard because we realize it's the foundational standard that's going to set, the foundation for all of the other standards, right? It's the grounding standard. So when you select and set your standard, you're not just leading instruction, you're actually leading some meaning in the work. So even though this is a recording, I need you to think about this. What's one word, and you can actually grab your clarity and confidence guides right now too, and in your notes, what's one word to describe your current focus right now? And this is the beginning of the school year for a lot of people, for everybody actually. So there's a lot going on, but what's one word to describe your current focus right now as it pertains to instruction? If you're not sure and you're still deciding, I need you to pause this video and think about it, right? That's what I need you to do. Hit me in my DMs and let me know what's the one thing that you're focusing on right now, and we can engage in some conversation via DM, okay? Again, get to your clarity and confidence guide now, right? And locate the notes section. I want you to listen for where you might drift, okay? I'm going to make a couple statements and listen for the one that you think would be you if you might drift and be, and not stick to choosing one standard, focusing on a single standard, right? Which one applies to you? Too many goals, no anchor. Walkthroughs don't match expectations. Coaching feels reactive. PLCs, or your collaborative planning, chase every gap instead of one goal. Or everyone's busy, but no one's sure what matters most. Which one applies to you? Where might you drift when you're engaging in this strategy of focusing on a single standard? Where might you drift? One of those five. Think about it for a second. The first step in regaining focus is noticing where you lost it. That's the very first step in regaining your focus. Where did I lose focus? You have to be able to identify that so that you can address it immediately. So is the loss of focus because there's too many goals and no anchor? The walkthroughs aren't meeting expectations. The coaching may feel reactive. The collaborative planning meetings or PLCs are chasing every gap instead of one goal. Or is everyone busy, but no one's sure what matters most, right? Where might you slip in this step of focusing on one single standard? So think about that for a second. Pause this video and think about it, okay? While you're thinking about it and you're writing it down in your clarity and confidence guide, I need you to hear some of the potential objections you may get from your staff, right? Or there may be even objections that I may hear from you in regard to taking these steps. So here's one objection. We already have a pacing guide. Perfect. This isn't about skipping, it's about anchoring, right? Your pacing continues, but your focus will deepen. Another objection may be, we don't want to micromanage teachers. Okay, this isn't about micromanaging. It's about giving teams like a direction, a clear direction, like a lighthouse. Where am I going throughout these rough, uncharted waters? You're not telling them what to do every day. You're giving them the target that's worth hitting. There's a big difference. Another objection I might hear from you is, we're already behind. The fact is, if you're a Title I school, you are behind. Like, that's not going to change right now. It's going to take work to do. And so that's exactly why this matters, right? Clarity makes up for time. One well-taught standard beats 10 rushed ones every single time. One well-taught standard, especially a foundational standard, will beat 10 rushed ones. Think about that for a second. The momentum that you and your staff can build, the confidence that you and your staff begin to have when you see this momentum building with this one standard. So let me tell you what this really does. It changes what teachers believe is possible. It changes how students talk about their learning, the power in that. It changes what you bring to your next presentation, whether you're presenting to your principal supervisor or if you're a charter school, your board. Not just a number, but a narrative. You're telling a story. This is how you build your legacy. One standard at a time. One message that sticks. Okay? I'm telling you this because I've lived it. I've done it myself. Okay? I would get into the details of how it developed an MTSS structure in the building, but that's for another day. That's down the road. Right now, let's just get started with focusing on a single standard. So now I need you to go to your clarity and confidence guide. And I need you to, in your notes, write this sentence. Ready? Over the next 6 weeks, we will anchor our work in insert your standard so that students can insert your outcome. I'll say that one more time. In your notes section, in your clarity and confidence guide, write this sentence. Over the next 6 weeks, we will anchor our work in insert your foundational standard so that students can insert the outcome. Take your time. This is your anchor, okay? This is how you will begin to control your narrative as a leader. This sentence will now become the script that you repeat when you're in huddles, when you're in the hallway, in coaching cycles, on community calls, right? Talking to your principal supervisor. This will be your anchoring sentence. Okay? So today is the start of the shift from noise to some clarity. Because even though it's the beginning of the school year, there's still noise, there's noise right now. Right? But clarity alone isn't going to be enough. So next Monday, we're going to talk through what happens when your focus is clear, but the tasks don't match the thinking. Because too many leaders set the right standard, but never check the precision of the work that's tied to it. That's a big piece. And then later this fall, I'll walk you through how to turn these 5 moves into your full leadership rhythm. So more on that to come really soon. Let's lock this in. What? You're going to select and set one foundational standard, okay, to drive the next 6 weeks. Why are you doing it? Because alignment builds trust and, more importantly, builds traction. So if you want help mapping out your clarity plan to this rhythm, direct DM me the word SPARK, and I will send you the details for the Leader Lift Review, which is a focused 30-day blueprint to help you approve the right target and protect your calendar, right? And so that you can really inspect what matters. So next week, everybody, we are going to prove the precision, because the effort without alignment is going to lead to burnout. Until then, choose your anchor, lead your message, and as always, keep leading beyond limits. Have a great afternoon.